Hello and welcome to the Unofficial Controller Podcast, your weekly gaming podcast, episode 127, Game Awards Roundup, with me, George, and this week joined by Tom, award-winner chicken dinner to my dinners in the dog. How's it going?
I'm okay, thank you. How are you?
I am well. I think the assembled thousands know how the show's going to go down, so I waste no time in excitedly asking you, what have you been playing?
Been playing quite a lot this week and some of last week. Finished Kenna Bridge of Spirits. Really enjoyed that. Thought it was great.
I have a piece about that in my...
Okay, we will get to that.
Yes.
I thought, very well made game. I enjoyed it more and more as it went on. It was kind of sad that obviously I reached the ending and I was like, it's just kind of getting going.
How long is it?
Time scale, I'd probably say it took me 10, 11 hours.
Right, yeah.
Maybe 12. I think for the price and the quality of it, it's pretty good.
Well, it's a Concrete Genie-esque title.
Yeah, it is. So I finished that, and then I downloaded Mortal Shell, one of the free PS Plus games this month.
Any good?
I am absolutely loving that game.
Describe to me and the associated listeners what Mortal Shell is and what it requires from you as a player.
So it's like a Souls-like game. There's quite a few of those knockoff ones on the market of like they've copied the formula of Dark Souls. This does it.
Is it a 3D game?
Yeah, it's literally like Dark Souls. You very similar in the way the map's laid out.
I've gone in Poundland.
Yeah.
And
Dark Souls from Wish, basically.
Yeah, is that what?
No, that's really undermining what it is. It's made by a very small group of people. I believe it was 3 or 4 when they started out as a studio, and they made it to like 15 people. But if 15 people can make this, Battlefield, you should be ashamed of yourself. We won't go down that path.
No, please.
Back to Mortal Shell. So one of the cool things is in the combat, it's very Souls. There's 4 different shells to collect. You are like a ghoul type person.
Like
and you
an apparition, or
sort of, and like a ghostly spirit. You can inhabit these shells, and there's 4 different ones, but they represent like 4 very different play styles. So the stamina and the health kind of for each one are very different. So I'm playing the tankier character who's got loads of health, makes the game a little easier. But he's got very poor stamina, so he does 2 or 3 big swings and they do good damage, but then he's on the back foot having to play defensive. One of the cool features they've done is, I'm sure you'll make a joke of this, but you can harden.
I have nothing to say.
Okay. Okay. So you harden and it will absorb 1 blow from any enemy. Boss, normal baddie.
Harden I'm fine with. If it had got hard, then we'd be having a different conversation.
Yeah. But you harden and it deflects it. You turn to stone, basically, which is pretty cool. And it deflects the blade of whatever enemy's attacking you.
Hard, almost like stone.
Yes. Hard like stone.
Game.
Yeah.
Back of the box quote. I can see it now.
Yep. Unofficial Controller Podcast. I'm not sure. I can't think off the top of my head.
Big up the studio. Big studio. Big developer. We're a big personal friend of the show.
If we big them up that much, we could probably get a developer that size on the show. We should probably try and do that. I'd love to hear from them. I think it's a brilliant, really well-made game. The combat's really fun. Feels good on the connection.
You're so passionate about it and you know so much about it. I think you should message them.
Okay.
Get Billy big. Get your shoulders out.
I'm busy writing the Christmas script at the minute, though, so I
don't build it up because these are the light episodes. Everyone who watches TV knows as towards the end of a big finale or Christmas special, there's light.
We're just churning out like an episode just to keep the fans,
to keep the season moving forward. But in actual
keep
fact,
them interested, and then we'll have the big guns for
busy
Christmas.
Making props, searching for CGI, audio CGI solutions to.
Well, we were in the library the other day.
Retro Man needs to visit Santa's workshop. That's a must.
Yeah.
They fly. Or walk.
Don't spoil the story. I'm writing it, don't you worry.
Okay.
I've got it covered. If you want to bullet points and points over to me.
That's it.
Just that one thing you want added to the script. It's actually a book that I am writing called The Retro Man. It's going to have its very first reading on the show.
You've really got into this. This is your spin-off project, isn't it?
No, because we found the story is from Ponsonbury Manor It was wrote by me many years ago.
Wait, this is more teaser. This is not.
I'm just fleshing it out.
This is it. I went to slap you, but the microphone was in the way.
Okay.
This is enough.
Okay, that's enough.
You've left enough. And we've got the thin white Duke recording as an intro.
We have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You need to deal with that part. I'm dealing with the big boy script. It won't be much for you to do.
Add it to the list.
Add it to the list. Well, Mortal Shell, fantastic. Really recommend it. If anyone likes Dark Souls type games, Adam or Bobby, if you're listening, really recommend it. Well worth playing. I don't know how far I'm through it. Not that far. It's. I wouldn't say it's difficult. It's kind of more difficult knowing where you're going, knowing if you go into the right area or the right dungeon or, yeah. But so Kenna, Mortal Shell, Call of Duty Warzone. I've re-downloaded that because it's had a new map this week.
Pacific
Caldera, I think it's pronounced. Yeah, just really fresh and nice to play a new map that they probably should have churned out a year ago or 2 years ago. It's gone back to the World War II guns as well, so it's changed that up a little bit, which are from Call of Duty Vanguard. Yeah, I think
picked up COD 2 today.
Oh, did you? Oh, mate, that's how I used to make a World War II game.
Kick their asses back to the farm. That was 3 though, wasn't it?
No, it's 2. The greatest intro video ever.
I wanted them to do the YouTube of the video.
Do it.
No, we won't.
Do it now. Let's watch it. Jamie, bring that shit up. Oh,
unbelievable!
It's only PG, isn't it? We'll add 1 swear, I think, or 2.
Unbelievable! We're at console start.
Nearly 3 years.
As well. All because you wanted to sound like.
You
wanted to sound like Joe Rogan. Unbelievable. Intro. This is not how you record a show. That's it. I recognise the low poly characters now. They looked HD at the time.
I tell you what, you notice frame rate more now looking back at old videos.
How dare you? That you
I hope the fans can hear this.
It still looks good. They'll hear this.
Art direction over graphical fidelity any day.
I still think that looks great. The A360, she started off well, didn't she? And yeah, that's it. Okay, that's all we came for. If you want to find it, it's Call of Duty 2 Intro HD on YouTube. Apologies for Tom swearing. We've gone 127 episodes without a swore, and now your child knows a swear word because of Tom.
Apologies. Retro Mum will make up for it.
You better add. That'll definitely be...
It will be PG.
Okay.
Very tame.
Okay. All right.
It's more about the emotion.
Let me tell you what I've been playing.
Had I finished?
I hoped.
Yeah, I played Call of Duty Warzone.
Oh, yeah, that's not really is it a COD game?
It's fun.
I'm not denying that.
I tell you what, it's more fun than Battlefield.
Does it use... I presume it uses the Vanguard engine now, does it? Or was it...
It looked a little bit nicer. It took me 3 days to download it.
My God.
No joke, 3 days.
And we're fibre in the village.
Yeah, but I'm on the copper. I'm on the copper line.
I really don't
over on the other side of the estate.
6 inches of copper's going to make that much difference, to be honest with you.
Yeah, tried to solder it to the PS5. No joy whatsoever.
Direct access.
Yeah, direct access. Ethernet port coming up. Well, yeah, I really enjoyed it, actually, I'm not going to lie. We came 3rd, was the highest we got in trios. Yeah, good fun game. I really like the new map. It's nice to... I think it levels the playing field a lot because you have a lot of people who play Warzone religiously. So I'm not saying the map makes that much difference, but knowing where to go, where the cover is, the layout of the map, the better areas. I've always found whenever I've got a new Call of Duty game or a multiplayer game like that, I always did really well at the start because it's a lot more of an even playing field. No one knows what, quite the best weapons, the OP weapons that need to be balanced. Or
what about a shooter that was competitive, but the killing edge was the map?
Stay with us. We'll be right back. Do you like video games, podcasts, and reminiscing? I'm actor, video game writer, and total sweetie pie Connor Savage McCabe, and on each episode of Call Me By Your Game, I sit down with a guest for an intimate look at a special game from their past. Did you and your dad beat Spyro the Dragon over the holidays? Or was Halo 4 the one thing that united your roommates during your senior year of college? Stories like these are what Call Me By Your Game is about. From video game content creator Janet Garcia to Hades voice actor Courtney Vinay's, I interview wonderful comedians and game industry friends about these memories. Check us out wherever you get your podcasts, and maybe someday you'll call me by your game.
Randomly generated.
Yeah, that'd be great. I think that's a really good idea.
For people like you, I know you can't go in unless it's Call of Duty SAS behind the lines, Captain Price style realism. So you could just throw in a load of concrete textures.
You should see the operator I've got on there. His name's Arthur Kingsley.
I thought you took it back.
No, this is operator on Call of Duty Warzone.
Oh.
It's called Arthur Kingsley. He has like mustard chinos and like these big like military red and brown boot things.
What are we dealing with here?
Just, yeah, the operators on
That's how you've
Warzone are
role-played.
almost as bad as the ones on
You've come up with a name,
Battlefield.
or does the game give you the name?
This is a character. This is the operator in the game. Everybody can play him. There's loads of other ones as well.
Right.
It's just
This is our detached.
shocking.
Can we not talk about
Yeah.
shooters and I can tell you what I've played?
Yes, tell me about
Mirrors.
Kenner.
I'm not interested in Kenner. I'll tell you how
You told me you had
disinterested.
like an interesting.
I'll tell you
bit
how
on that.
disinterested I am in Kenner. Is that I haven't been able to get on the PS5, but I started playing. I was going through because I got access to a PS4 away. And I was
Okay.
like, okay, right. What have I got in here? It was Ratchet and Clank. I said I was playing it last week. Dude, it's a good game.
Just a good game.
No, it's better than that. It's really good fun. It's pulled me through. I've like thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm right in the end game now. I thought, yeah, it's a good game.
I liked Rift Apart, but I don't think I'd rush out to buy another one of
This
the
one's
Ratchet
probably
games.
This one's probably not as good as that,
Yeah.
but it's still a really good showing. And if you've played it's actually so much easier than the PS2 version.
Yeah.
And it's friendly. The graphics look good. It's pulled me through. And for some reason, I cared about Ratchet and Clank. Maybe I just need to play it more. And it's quite.
Kenner, I think I still wasn't that attached
Do
to
I
the
sell
character.
my PS5? Because right now it's getting 0 hours.
I think this is always the problem we've had with being early adopters of next
I
gen.
don't think it's that. It's just I'm not in the manner very much, am I?
Yeah, but it'll still be that one day. I think selling it is pointless. What is the point?
You're right. Think of all the tat that I've got.
Yeah, you might as well just have an expensive piece of tat that not many people can get hold of.
You're right.
Or maybe sell it because you can get more money for it. I think next year is going to be a real big bounce back, especially as the industry as a whole.
Oh, we
I
were
think we're
going to
gonna see
talk
some
about
great-
that, weren't we? Because we talked about.
So, yeah, I think looking back at last year, we had the next gen launch, and I would argue PlayStation had the stronger lineup. I think there was a bit of something for everyone. The first party titles were strong. I loved it. Thought it was a brilliant launch. Really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the console throughout the year. But this winter period feels like a bit of a kick in the teeth. Like there isn't one big game they've got.
No.
And that's really unusual for them to not, or a video game company not to churn out one big title to. I just generally think like next gen development is getting harder and harder, and they probably just didn't have anything.
What could we argue would be I suppose they could get behind Deathloop as their Christmas game. I mean,
They
arguably,
haven't
could it
even
be
they haven't,
that?
even- they haven't even tried to really rally one title as its sort of saving grace for Christmas to get. I think because
I think to
so
the
rare.
non-early adopters and to the people picking it up now, or maybe getting it for Christmas, or maybe got it and looking for a game for Christmas, there's still loads out there from the launch window, etc. Like Ratchet, Timmy gets a PS5, gets Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
But to the more sort of seasoned gamers like you and I,
who have had it since launch, it's a little bit slim pickings. Like
It
Guardians
is.
of the Galaxy, we've talked about, you can get on Xbox. And we've got to say, Xbox is killing it this winter. They've got Forza, Flight Sim, Halo, Age of Empires 4. What's the other one?
There's that game coming out, and one way called Gunk as well.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
a Games Pass exclusive. And not enough is being said about that one where you shrunken down. I was playing.
Oh,
that,
yeah.
I thought that was absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it now. Shrunken Down. Let's call it that for now. Anyway, I thought that was great from what I've seen of it, and it really did give you a good vibe.
Yeah,
it's a big open world game, and Games Pass or not, I still think Microsoft could charge for these games for the first 3 months. They could charge.
I think they still sell.
I still think they would sell, and I think it would boost the profits.
Yeah, Halo Infinite single players come out now.
If I had Games Pass, and that wasn't on Games Pass day and date, I think I'd still go and buy it.
Yeah.
I'd want the copy on the shelf. I'd want the Master Chief helmet version and all that. I really don't think it would hurt them to bundle some of these games up and sell them physical.
No, I think you'd still have the collectors within us who would want to get them. I just think next year's probably going to be a better year for both companies, but obviously this winter lineup is a little bit slim pickings. The Switch, I don't even know if they've got anything.
I definitely think you could saunter into winter with your chest out as an Xbox. Really.
Oh yeah.
And I think Xbox,
they've dominated.
They could have their chest out as well, because we talked off air. That Series S is available and it's clearing up. Regardless of your thoughts on it, it's a next-gen machine.
Yeah, there's been some disappointing stats today from PlayStation, hasn't there, about they've not sold very many PS5s at all, mainly down to stock issues. But there's only so long we'll keep that up for, and then it's going to be
the demand's
struggle
there.
Yeah, I think the demand is
we
there.
have touched on this, haven't we?
But like you said, there's a lot coming up in the second-hand market, and I think people are just I think people will get bored of waiting. Either they'll get bored of waiting for games, or they'll get bored of waiting for the actual console and just jump on the Xbox family.
I see this almost as it's a rematch of the PS3 and the 360.
Yeah.
And I think with the Series S on the ground and Games Pass, and the thing about Games Pass, the really clever thing about that for a transitionary player is you're immediately into pit of games. I think it would be viewed differently if you've had Xbox from the get-go, and therefore you've played a lot of these experiences. It's still wonderful to have them at your fingertips for XYZ a month. Absolutely brilliant. But for a transitionary player, boom, bucket of content you may never have played.
Yeah.
Bucket of content you may never have played. And access to Halo Infinite, Forza Horizon 5 today.
Yeah.
Was all part of the package. 3 months free. Why not?
Yeah, I think you'll get people as well where they play within a small group of friends online, and it'll only take that 1 or 2 people in that group to go, I've done it, bought an Xbox Series S, and then that's it, everybody. Yeah, okay, we'll have to get one now then, and then they've jumped to a different platform.
And they've got no disk drive, so they're locked into Games Pass.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they can't leave that ecosystem because they've got the games.
Yeah.
It's such a great idea.
Yeah. I mean...
And it's come at the right time. I feel like the Series S would have appetite in the market.
Did we cover last week?
COVID.
Yeah. Did we cover last week the potential Games Pass challenger that's been rumoured?
I think we did. I was thinking about this today, actually. And I was thinking to myself...
Oh, we did, because we're talking about the tier system.
Yeah, but I was thinking more about it today. And I know I've gone about curation before. But if they're going to bring it out and it's going to have PS1 games on it, unless they curate those, why on God's green earth would someone go, where's the value in that? I do say this about backwards compatibility in some way, like having backwards compatibility to the gen before, that's very sensible. Having what kid's going to go, Mummy,
yeah.
Can I have this? Like, what is it? Oh, look at all this content. What's this PS1? Would you even play that game? No.
I've actually found firsthand, like where I've had the Nintendo consoles, where I've had, like, I don't know, Wii Virtual Console, I've gone out and spent money on N64 games on that Wii Virtual Console, like £9 or £10, I think they were. Put them on and been like, oh, nostalgic for 10 minutes, and then I'm like, why did I buy that? Like, I've played it, I've enjoyed it, it's a really great gaming memory, and now it's just like, there's no point.
But imagine if you had this is what I'm saying. Imagine if you had no nostalgia for that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, you'd put it on and be like, oh, that's rubbish.
I play older games and see them as like curios and, interesting ideas.
Researching as well and looking how far it's come.
But I don't see kids really, the odd one or two, beating a door down to like have a go on Alien Trilogy. It's not going to happen. So I kind of find if they're going to put those on, unless they curate them and say, oh yeah, this is a great landmark game, Metal Gear Solid, well, here's the history, a little movie in the background.
Yeah.
This is why it's iconic. Or even like Jumping Flash now. Like, that game looks terrible. It's tank controls in a platformer where you're a robot rabbit. Why would a kid go, oh yeah, I see the value in paying $8.99 a month for this?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I think... Have I done a you?
No, we're good. I think we'll move on to the news.
I didn't know if I was in... I didn't know. I needed to gauge from you whether I'd gone into rant mode.
No. I think they're valid points. PlayStation needs to pick it up a bit for next year. I'm sure they will. I'm excited to see what they've got.
It's time for the news. We've scoured the very darkest reach of the internet to bring you the latest stories. First up, the Emperor's new clothes.
Speak of the devil.
Yeah, it's happening. Sony has announced the official console covers for the PlayStation 5 will be available to purchase in 2022. These different coloured covers can be used to customise the look of your system, matching the current and brand new DualSense colour schemes. And yes, there'll be different kinds of covers depending on what type of PS5 that you own, with or without disk drive. Midnight Black and Cosmic Red will be the first colours to arrive, hitting a large number of territories in January. Nova Pink, Galactic Purple and Starlight Blue are all due to release in the first half of next year. Said territories include the USA, Canada, UK, France, Germany, Switzerland, Austria, Spain, Portugal, Italy, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, Korea and the Philippines. You're not going to believe me, but this is an absolute fact. We've had listens in every single one of those countries.
Really?
There's a bit of a catch, however. These plates aren't cheap. We only have the US pricing to go on, but they're looking at a recommended retail price of $55, which would be about $49.99. Thoughts?
Disgusting. That price is a joke. Oh, for two bits of plastic.
That's true, by the way. Genuine.
Okay. Oh, that's good. Good. I'm glad we've had lessons in Taiwan. That price is disgusting. Sorry, but it is. Let's say it does come in the UK at $49.99 with two bits of plastic. They're not Apple. What are they doing? I'm not being funny either. Apart from the black, I think the other colours are absolutely disgusting.
I was going to say more the full on, like, yeah, if you want to customise your PlayStation 5,
if you want to go the full shebang and get the controller, get the controller,
£120.
Yeah, pretty much. Depending if you shop around.
Ouch.
Daft.
What if you're on Instagram and you had every colour as well? Nova Pink, Galactic Purple, Starlight Blue, Midnight Black and Cosmic Red are already out as controllers. So technically you'd have one of those.
Yeah.
So that's 70, 140, whatever, do the maths, 210.
Right. I just think that for the plates, the controller's not bad.
2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know. Mate, that is a lot of Wonga. But why would you want them all? I know there's the Pokemon collectors out there, got to catch them all, but why would most normal people? I think most normal people might go get the Midnight Black, have a Midnight Black controller.
$49.99 if you're going to have that console for the rest of the gen. Might not seem too bad, but it's just more the fact that the material is literally two bits of plastic.
I don't disagree with you.
Maybe the
Don't forget, that's the RRP.
Yeah.
We're going to see 10% reduction in that straight off the gates out of Amazon or somewhere like that.
Yeah, maybe so. I think I was looking more 20 to 30.
I think that's where it'll end up. I think when manufacturers launch a product, they want to pitch it right up so they can work it down over the life of the console. Okay. 2 or 3 years from now, they might want to, you people be a bit bored with the console. By then, the price points hit the majority of purchases.
Also, by then, I think there's a decent selection of colours there. I don't particularly like that many of them. I'd probably get the black to match my controller, but I'm not that fussed.
I think the launching the black first is a shrewd move for the people that like their PlayStation's black.
Yeah. But in terms of, they're quite boring in the way that people are going to want like the collector's editions you're going to get with certain games.
I'm surprised.
You know what I think we might see is like bundles. So rather than they'll do a console bundle when they eventually get some more made, but you might get bundles where you get the plates as like a pre-order.
I'm not against that. But then again,
if they're official products and they come with a first-party game, I think that'd be quite nice. And if they look really good, but the quality has to be good for that price.
It has to be spot on. Because add a game to that.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
With 90 quid without even scratching.
£100 again.
And then you're not really going to get... I mean, unless they smash the faceplates out as tat, that you just get... You go
the
pre-order a game
ones where you got them on the magazine.
I was thinking slightly better than that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that if you pre-order one, and instead of getting a steelbook they sell, do you want the PS5 plates to go?
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, I do. But if it ends up being... limited edition, collector's edition, blah, 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 and they don't include the plates, or you add the plates on top of that as well, and you get a steelbook, but you don't get a game, and you've got to buy the game separate. Like, this is getting crazy.
Yeah.
So I just want some calm.
I think I look at it through different eyes than I used to, because I used to collect a lot more stuff because I had more disposable income. Now I can't do that. So I'm excited for people who are really into collecting and modifying consoles and all that sort of thing. I think it's really nice, but it's a shame they've come down hard on the third party people.
That's
trying to
exactly
make them.
What I was going to say. They knew what they were doing. They had no announcements, but they certainly didn't anyone else getting a slice of that pie, did they? So.
Yeah.
Next bit of news.
Which, sorry, do you think that is strange considering the third party controllers? It's a strange thing.
No, well, I suppose from their point of view, a third-party controller does actually end up taking on a slightly different form factor from the original. And it may not actually have some of the dual sense features in it. So they're like, well, it's not bad for an unofficial controller.
Yeah, we looked at the Scuff one last week, didn't we? And it was like £200 started at, and that's mental.
But if they've always been planning to go to market at $55... if those other companies were banging them out at $30, it's only going to look terrible. Yeah. So they had to kill that so they can charge $55. The markup on that must be ridiculous.
Yeah. What we got next?
Can you read that?
Yeah, I can read that. Never leave a good dev behind. As you may well be aware, original Fable developer Lionhead Studios was shut down by Microsoft back in 2016. And a few members of the team have reflected on that experience in a new Xbox documentary series. Former general manager of Global Games Publishing, Shannon Loftus, called the handling of Lionhead Studios one of the biggest missteps that we've learnt from in the past, explaining that she wishes the studio was still viable. She says, "We have already published Fable 1 and it was a bit... people wanted more. And so we bought Lionhead. Those were good years. But after Fable 2, Connect came along and the Fable Connect marriage just never really took. And then Fable The Journey was a passion project for a lot of people. But I think it deviated pretty significantly from the pillars of what made Fable 1 and 2 so popular." Head of Xbox Phil Spencer went on to explain that the team learned a valuable lesson as a result of this, in that you acquire a studio for what they're great at now. Your job is to help them accelerate how they do what they do, not them accelerate what you do. The closure of Lionhead Studio was certainly a sad moment for Fable fans, but fortunately Forza Horizon developer Playground Games is taking the reins on the next version of Fable. That is in good hands. Hopefully he'll be able to live up to the high expectations set by Lionhead Studios all those years ago. That is in really good hands, in my opinion.
Well, I think the more important piece is that they've learned, because we talked last week, or whenever it was, about the history of the Xbox and all that sort of stuff, and one of the things that I feel was sad about Xbox is they had no studios, so quickly had to gather some up. And they did that. And then they just burnt them and kicked them. And I always felt that was a shame because, would Bungie have benefited from taking a rest while still be under Microsoft's ownership and execute a game? Like, imagine if Destiny had been an Xbox exclusive.
Yeah.
Like, did they have? They were bored of making Halo. It was a blatant cry of please let us go.
Yeah.
And again, Lionhead, could they have had a little bit more freedom? Yes, they could have. And would that have encouraged them to stay, or would that have made Microsoft bought them, crammed them in a box, and said, "You now poop out Halo-shaped smells for us to look at."
Yeah,
and that's it.
I think it sometimes can suffocate creativity within like a development studio if they're too controlled.
Times. If you're an artist, you want to draw something new. So imagine if someone came down the line, they were like, "Brian, oh yeah, what's up?" Well, it would be Andrew, wouldn't he, if he's an artist, of course.
Yeah.
And Andrew, how are you? Like, great, yeah. I want you to draw something for me. Oh, brilliant! I can't wait to use all my creative juices. Can you redraw the Spartan armor? Like, oh, boss, I can't do this anymore. I quit. Oh, really? Yeah. And then there must be a point in time where the whole of Bungie was like, no, we don't want to do this. We don't want to do John 117 anymore, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
We don't want to do this. So they went off and did Destiny, which was meant to be a Halo MMA, whatever it is.
So, it was.
Did they lose something there? Or the same with Lionhead? Like, was that, no, I don't want to do another Fable, boss. I don't want to do steampunk shooty gun like RPG anymore.
I don't know. I don't know whether they reached that point, but you don't know, do you? Could have been.
I feel like Fable Connect was, that
they maybe told them, look, we need an IP that's well known to attach to
crank this out, and this is about the best we're going to get.
Yeah.
And again, they must have been like, oh no,
yeah.
Please. I mean, maybe when Molyneux pitched it to them, he did them.
Stop! He's already dead.
That's exactly what we're dealing with here. Anyway,
okay.
So yeah, could studios do with taking a break from a multi-hit franchise that they've had great success with? Absolutely.
Well, we're seeing that with potentially Naughty Dog, and on a smaller scale, Santa Monica Studios. Cory Balrog's gone off and he's doing his own game, isn't he, at the minute?
Yeah, I think
within the
they
still
should make a bit of a ruling, really. I don't know how Sony or Microsoft, they say to the publisher, they say to their developers, push us out a AAA hit.
Yeah.
Then you take a break and you push us out an Xbox Arcade equivalent or a PSN like $4.99 game. Make it crazy, stupid little thing, whatever. Clean your minds down, clear your palettes. Do something else, AAA. Then give us just to let the teams break and do something different. And like, do we have to commit to using this engine? We've spent all that time. Who cares? If it don't fit your new game, bin it.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because if you went to me as a Rockstar fan and go, would you rather see a new IP from them or would you rather see Red Dead Redemption 3? I'm going to be really hard to press to want to see the new IP.
Well, maybe
when fans feel so strong for a particular series.
Yeah, but that's why I'm not disputing that. Fans want to see the next one in the series, but the guys in the development team probably don't want to do that straight away. Let them indulge themselves and do a $4.99 arcade game, and then let them go on and do your Red Dead Redemption 3. So at least they've drawn something other than a horse's testicle. Yeah.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Sucker Puncher making a Ghost of Tsushima sequel, but I think there's rumour we might see Sly Cooper return before that from them. So,
how cool would that be?
Yeah. Like you say, it's probably good.
And Ghost of Tsushima 2 is an absolute guarantee. I don't know if it's guaranteed to be a hit, but it's guaranteed to sell.
Yeah.
But giving them a break, I think Ghost of Tsushima's just had its Game of the Year edition on PS5.
Yeah, and the DLC.
Rest it. Rest it.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
It probably make. Don't get me wrong, it can go too far and we get like a Duke Nukem scenario or what's many of the other titles where they've been left and the sequel finally comes and it's Shenmue 3.
Yeah, I'm not even going to argue.
Yeah, I think you risk that, but as long as you want a little bit of gap between, so the rabid fans are literally foaming at the bit for something in that series. You leave it too long, it goes the way of like, oh, well, that was a massive letdown. So yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Okay. Well, did we miss anything? Do you have an opinion or take on the news we missed? If so, Tom, how would the collective masses get in touch?
You can get in touch with us at questions@unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com.
That's a hot email.
It is. It's a hot box of nothing at the moment. Okay, a hot box. Or DM us on Instagram or Twitter. You can also reach us in our Discord.
That's where all the big brains go.
It's where all the big brains go.
That's where the superior gamers go.
It is.
The true cream of not just the community, but gaming in general. Comes
the
to
DC Master Race.
Exactly, yeah. Whatever you want it to be. Whatever makes you feel good. What makes you feel good?
Returning Battlefield and being paid £50. Thank you very much. Goodbye. And pre-ordering Elden Ring with that money. Told you never pre-order a game again.
And I am making a statement today. Let me raise my voice so other gamers can hear that person, that casual looking at an Among Us toy. Let me...
Oh.
Is that you returning my money for Battlefield Tellerant game? Yes. Here's that same money for me to order Elden Ring. Did you hear that, little boy?
I play bigger boy games.
You looking at your key ring for Fortnite. That's beautiful.
Very good.
I hope that's how it went down. I have nothing but blank paper because today we wanted to digest the Game Awards. Jeff, he span around. He churned out, to be honest with you,
I thought it was really good.
Rumoured to believe somewhere upwards of 70 million spent.
Really?
Deep double figures.
What they spent on the show and
deep double figures to me suggests not 10, 20, 30, 40. We're 50 plus here, million on an awards show. It's pretty extreme. Anyway, Jeff served up probably the most big budget game awards after the Ponces.
After the Ponces, of course.
The Ponces. Left him quaking in his feet. It was, coming out the gates first.
Did we have any exclusive reveals? No, but we're working on it for next year. We're going to start small like Jeff did. We'll make loads of promises. It'll be very mediocre for you.
Unofficial Controller Podcast exclusive.
Premiere.
One-man Swedish development team, Hans Olafsson, makes a 2D Souls-like game. World premiere.
We've got it. We don't even... There you go. You can do the voice.
Start again.
Yep.
And again. Because only bigger boys play these games.
With it endorsed by me, presented by me.
Exactly.
I'll present every award.
Maybe that skit I did about you and the Among Us doll and the Fortnite is actually the advert, the TV advert for it.
Okay.
One-man team in his bedroom making a mobile game. World premiere.
For that new little handheld that comes out with a winding wheel.
World premiere 1-bit game. There's a 1-bit game in Stingray's boot.
Is there?
Yes.
Wow. Well... I really enjoyed all the reveals from the Game Awards. I don't tend to... It's on so late in the UK, I didn't watch it. I watched some of the highlights.
There's some bad feeling about the social media politics. I don't know if you wanted to talk about that or not.
I haven't heard about that. I know Jeff made a bit of a speech about the discrimination in the industry, blah, 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 and I think that's nice he did.
Names, but then he kind of...
Yeah, he don't want to...
it's stupid, but then the whole show's financed by Tencent, which is a Chinese company paid for by the Chinese government.
Really?
So it's like, give me the shill, because that's fine. But if it happens in the US, I've got an opinion on it. But if the slave,
I think after my anger of the past few weeks, I've just tried to avoid anything like that altogether.
You're like an angry bull that's been let in the cow pen, and now you're fine.
Yeah. Yeah,
that was mine. That's last week. That was me opening the gate. No, the week before was me opening the gate. The episode was basically you in the.
I've rutted and mated with Elden Ring
by the
pre-order.
End of that episode, you were like, you were done. You were spent. You were like, you're having a good time. Then last week you're still there was still to give. There was still a couple of cows needed siring, really. So you went down, you let loose, and you swung left and right, and then there's a few strange noise from down the bottom of the yard, but you seemed to come away unscathed. One of the cows got a broken spine, but other than that, we're all good.
Well, back to the Game Awards. Yeah, so there was some unpleasantness. There was some unpleasantness on social media, was there?
Just about the inconsistency of him calling out Activision, but quite happily having the main show sponsored by Tencent. And if you dug a little further than
most
one page on Google, you'd be like, "Oh, it's not a terribly great company to be associated with." Really.
We do what we do, don't we? I suppose we
think of the people we've associated with. Yeah, where we have that run of sponsors.
Yes, I do. Yeah, let's get some more of them. Anyway, I thoroughly enjoyed all the reveals. I woke up Friday morning. The morning after the game show, I usually set my alarm a little bit earlier so I can get up before work just to watch them.
Oh mate, I just remembered. Me and cousin Ben used to like the wrestle. He had WWF at home. He had Sky.
Yeah.
Okay. And he came here one day and went, "Oh yeah," and I saw in the newspaper that WCW was going to be on ITV at like 2 a.m. or something.
Right.
So I set my alarm, my old wind-up alarm, far back, and put it under my pillow. And I would wake up, because we would watch this WCW show on ITV at 2 a.m.
Yeah. Not even a pay-per-view, just a standard show.
I don't even know what it was. Now, I don't know whether I got
equivalent of Sunday Night Heat.
I don't know whether I set my clock wrong or whether it being under my pillow broke it. But when it did go off, I don't know whether also, I think when we checked the next day, the clocks had also moved.
Right.
So we totally missed this show. And you just saying what you said about sleeping and waking up, it reminded me of this rather embarrassing. Me and cousin Ben, confused, staring at the TV on silent.
Wind it on. Yeah, so I got up in the morning and watched most of them.
Which one most excited you of those trailers? Because there's one that really piqued my interest a lot.
For me, there was a few like, oh, they didn't show this, they didn't show that. And then I was like, no, that's like the modern way of thinking of like, why aren't they showing everything I want to see when really there is? There was something there for everyone. I'm sure there must have been, because there's a really large scale show with lots of reveals and lots of different genres of games. World premiere. Suicide Squad.
That looks so good.
Rocksteady's Suicide Squad looks brilliant.
It looks next gen.
Yeah, I think they're not obviously going for realism as much.
The style is, it's almost like my imagination of what Gotham looked like, or that art style, turned on the lights.
Yeah. Did you see the Daily Planet in the background?
No.
Of the city?
Saw Barry Allen, obviously.
Yeah. So we were saying it looks like Captain Boomerang's got his abilities that he can run for.
Yeah.
It looks like
each person.
I think it might be the fact that each character needs their fast traversal for around such a large city, or well, I don't know how big it is yet, but it's going to be big enough that you need to kind of move around quite quickly. So King Shark, or whatever his name is, his ability looked quite good. It reminded me of Crackdown, the fact that he could do these massive jumps. That would be quite cool.
It's like the butt stomp that Mario does.
Yeah.
You mean that?
No, where he just, you can jump from building to building.
Oh, I see what you mean, yeah.
How we've seen in a lot of superhero films where they'll just do a massive jump, like Superman does when he's first learning to, like through the cornfields and stuff.
Yeah.
It's almost in that vein.
The colours and the...
It's just got its own style, hasn't it?
Yeah.
There's something about it that
and it's
really...
kind of like got washed out pastel colours.
Yeah.
So all the colours that you want to see are there, but they're kind of more sort of washed out, which I think looks great.
I think it's a wise move because we've had so much, like... Don't get me wrong, we went through like the Gears of War era where every game was like a muddy brown colour, and just lately with like Fortnite and Apex and even the Call of Duty skins and all that sort of thing, everything's very bright and colourful and like, wow, look at me, I'm the loudest person on the block. Like, look at the colours, like just to gain attention almost. So it was quite nice to see something toned down but still be Suicide Squad are quite a colourful collection of characters.
I think it fits.
So it's nice to see it not too over the top and shiny and glossy.
The character models as well, the facials. I mean, they say the gameplay. If that's how the character models look in gameplay, the game looks.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
And the actual gameplay looks really fun. Like each character bringing their own unique type of.
It feels like
combat.
An evolution of the already established Arkham games. Though.
Yeah.
It didn't,
oh, definitely.
I didn't see anything there that made me go, ooh. What I saw was, ooh, they're using the Arkham style to use this character and this character.
How do you think they're going to incorporate Batman? Do we think... Because if they're going to keep it in that world, Batman in that world is gone. It will have to be either a successor or they'll have to do it in a time period where it is before Arkham games. And it could work like that because those Arkham games are set very much at the end of his career because there's a lot of Easter eggs for other stuff.
There is lots of slight nods to this happened and isn't Robin dead in it or...
One of them, the one the Joker kills is dead because because we have the Red Hood storyline kind of play out in Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
So I think they could probably do it. It'd be great to see that Batman again, just Stephen as a boss. Imagine fighting him and he's got his abilities from the game that you play. Oh, just like a straight up, like, all four of you trying to deal with him because he would be a massive handful. Like, and then Endgame's going to be Superman, surely.
Well, yeah.
If they get those boss fights right and it looked good with what they were doing with the Flash, the way he was like going so quick, he was creating a tornado through the city and... If they can make those boss fights interesting,
the Flash could be a handful as well.
Yeah,
absolutely. The thing is, with superhero characters,
Wonder Woman we saw.
How do you put a lid on it where it's not ridiculous?
Yeah, exactly.
They had making a Superman game if they were to have done that. What's beyond ridiculous? Especially if you think about the attention to detail they paid to Batman. If they paid even the closest amount of attention to Superman, they'd be like, "We're going to struggle with this."
I think they'll give us maybe the big three, and then maybe Barry and probably Aquaman, maybe. I don't know whether we'll get all... We're not going to get all the Justice League, I don't feel. I think I'd rather have 4 or 5 good ones than them go like 8 or 9 deep and them be a little bit...
I'm also more happy with the way the hints to way the story is explained as well, because it's
it's Brainiac, isn't it?
Exactly, he's super cool.
Yeah, he's going to be sort of overtaking them, I guess, and turning them against everyone, and then the Suicide Squad's kind of a last resort.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what type of game it turns out to be. Is it going to be live service? Because if it's done to such a high caliber of their studio, and we get like new members of the Suicide Squad, people are going to play that a lot.
I don't think.
I hope it doesn't go that way. I'd still rather it be.
I don't think they'll do that. And I think there might be DLC like they did with the Arkham games.
Maybe have one character added in, maybe
that and the odd character. But I think anymore, and it risks being a bit crap.
Yeah,
it depends where the studio's at. It's going to be Warner Brothers, so the danger is it could get milked.
If the shareholders go, look, you can turn this into a live service game really easily.
Xbox exclusive character is this one with a small hint of green. The PlayStation character is this one with a small hint of blue. That's how it's going.
I hope it's not. I hope we get a full quality title as
Little
good as
slip
Arkham.
Of paper with a code on it just on the inside. No manual, so you know you're getting absolutely mugged and you're paying for this piece of paper with that code that should have been on the game.
Yeah.
What else took your fancy? Because let me tell you what took my fancy. Quantic Dream Star Wars.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
I know it's only game trailer, but seeing that as a mood board makes me go, this could be good.
It's set in High Republic era or whatever it is,
I know,
isn't it?
But what does that mean? Because then we see snapshots of Yoda and what looks like things from like the
Or is it Yoda? It's the temple, isn't it, that he's in? He's like looking out the window, but is it Yoda? Is it...
Dude, if they have one of his race in there and it's not Yoda and it's like Yaddle or Yodel or Yodel or whatever it is, right? And he's like, oh, careful you bastard. He sounds exactly like him.
Well, he's like 800-year-old, and so he should be
that is
covered.
The most mugged off I think we would feel as Star Wars fans if that's not actually Yoda.
Most of the best Star Wars stories in video games are usually stories well away from the films.
That's what me or you would like to see, like Rogue One or something like that. But I feel like it would be incredibly brave of a Star Wars game to rock up and be set in the universe but not mention Jedi's, not see a lightsaber on screen. You know, it's not going to...
Oh, well, yeah, there's certain tropes that they'll want to put in, but yeah, that
you
that
only
looks
see
good.
one lightsaber in Rogue One, and
Yeah.
it's right at the end,
Yeah,
and it's all the better for it.
true. I mentioned Wonder Woman in that Suicide Squad trailer. I'm getting confused. She's actually going to be a standalone title from the creators of the Shadow of Mordor series, which I think is great.
Yeah, no, because
Another Warner Brothers.
Have you played that?
Shadow War? Both, yeah. Really enjoyed them.
They know how to put a game together.
I think
I've watched that played. I've never played it, but I thought it looked amazing.
I think one of them's on the PlayStation.
Yeah, I've got it.
I would give that a whirl.
Game of the
Give it a whirl. It's really good. Really good. Not too difficult, not too hard, not too easy. A nice sort of balance of difficulty.
The only thing I wasn't keen when I've watched it is it all... I know the game's called Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Being in Mordor all the time.
The first one is very light that. The second one is better. It feels way more diverse with its locations.
So I don't think I've seen the second one. I've seen the first. And it all just
the first one will...
fortresses.
The first one will seem really old now because I'm not sure if it came out.
It was on PS3 and Xbox 360.
Really?
I don't know if it was on 360. I'm pretty confident that it was definitely on PS3. How it ran it?
It must have. It would have been on both then. So I think it had a next gen version, but then I would be tempted. Although then you miss out on the story, you could maybe watch like a recap of one and then play two.
Are they long games?
Not particularly.
You see, at the minute, it's smelling like Jedi Fallen Order is going to be my Christmas game. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I think that's great.
I'm happy with that. Or I could go back to Darksiders on PS3 when I settle down by the fire over the Christmas period if I get time.
Yeah, I played Shadow of Mordor over Christmas and it was really good. I enjoyed it.
Anyway, Game Awards, give me more.
So we had Wonder Woman, Alan Wake 2 CGI trailer.
I'm happy with that.
A very simple, a bit like some of the trailers we've had before, where it's just a bit of a...
I'm most intrigued by the insinuations that they're trying to make a Wake verse.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that in a negative way. I am intrigued by it, and Control's part of that Wake verse.
Yeah.
And obviously Alan Wake 1, there were bits and bobs in the DLC of Control and some little bits of sort of Easter eggs that kind of insinuated that Wake and the games were set in the same universe. But Alan Wake, did it need a sequel? I don't know. I'm not sure anymore. Having played it recently, I kind of like the one and doneness about it, and I kind of like the one and doneness about it before.
Yeah, agreed. I think, did it need a sequel? Obviously, when we saw the remaster, we were talking very much about the fact that, there must be a sequel coming. But then, did we really want it? Is it a game that stands on its own really well? I'd probably argue, yeah. Xbox-wise, we saw Hellblade 2, which I was watching that, so I looked at that. Obviously, I don't own an Xbox, but I'm still really interested in it. And I put it on, I was like, when's the gameplay start? And it wasn't for ages till I realised this was a gameplay trailer. I'm like, this just looks like a CGI movie. This is unbelievable. So good. And yeah, looked really good. Strong graphically. That's exciting. I know we've got a few hardcore fans of that series, so they must be very excited after seeing some gameplay of that finally.
Well, every week I've been screaming at the mic saying, give me next gen, and do you know, Xbox, give me next gen.
Yeah. For PlayStation, I thought Horizon Forbidden West looked phenomenal.
On that note,
yes,
the Gears team were the ones who put together the Matrix.
Oh, were they?
Yes.
Ah.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So obviously they've got their grips on what they're doing with that, and obviously that's probably one of the reasons why it probably works best on the Microsoft kit.
Yeah.
Because I know that the PlayStation was dropping frames left, right, and Chelsea.
Yeah.
So not a massive... And sadly, that's all we managed to record due to an unexpected and unforeseen software glitch. We hope that the show we served up to you at that point proved satisfactory, and we thank you for listening. We hope to return soon with the Christmas special. Until then, remember, if life gives you the unofficial controller, it's what you do with it that counts. See you again next week.